Would I be the asshole for telling the neighbors down the street, no parent, no pool? We put in a pool a few months ago and the pool deck is still in progress. It's all dirt, stone currently. The kid down the street who is a bit older than our kids saw us in the pool from the road today and came down to ask if he could swim. We really didn't want anyone because it's still a disaster out back, but I said he could if his mom was coming over. He came back 10 minutes later in swim trunks with a towel and no parent in sight and said she couldn't come. My wife let him go in anyway and was texting his mom, but I told her I am going to talk to the parents and tell them that going forward the rule is no parent, no pool. I'm not running a daycare all summer and I don't feel like being held hostage to stay outside because the kids are all playing. The kid is quite a bit older, but just because they are fine with him running around the neighborhood doesn't mean I want him stopping by uninvited every time he sees us outside. My wife doesn't want me to say anything. She says to just tell him next time that we are going inside, but I don't feel like lying and he would still see us from the road. I want to set the ground rules early. Would I be the asshole for telling them he can't just come by every time we are out back and that when he does they need to be with him? Edit. A word. Edit. Just to add for everyone that is worried, we already increased our HO's liability and purchased a pup policy on top of that to cover the excess liability. So we are good with the liability side. It's more about the watching them. Edit again. To clarify for the, you need a fence, people. Yes, we are well aware we need a fence. The pool was just built. The patio is just being put in this month. The fence comes after the site work. It will have a fence, chill. Edit for more clarity. There is a temporary fence. My God, people. Stop harping on something I literally can't make happen any faster than I can get someone out here. Not the asshole. Your private pool isn't a community pool, FFS, and I'd be ashamed and embarrassed as hell if that were my kid. I wouldn't even go with him. I'd tell my kids we have no business bothering others to use their pool. That's so rude. Not the asshole. It's a reasonable rule. Plus you have to think of liability if anything happened to this child. I agree with you, lying to this kid isn't going to help. If he shows up without a parent, send him to go get one. Are you positive he is even asking his parent to come or just tell parent, neighbor said I can use their pool? Not the asshole. You should also read up on laws regarding if someone becomes injured on your property. The last thing you want is to be liable for a horrible accident happening in your pool without adequate supervision. Some places are very strict and if the injury, death happened on your property you could be sued. We were the house with the pool growing up and it was a no-go for anyone else unless you spoke to us, cleaned up after yourself, had full supervision, and left before quiet hours. There may be times you guys want private use and a precedent will have been set for these kids showing up all willy-nilly. Rules don't make you an ass. Not the asshole. This is actually quite reasonable. You have a right to your privacy and you also don't want your pool to become a public utility. Like you said, you need to set up your rules early. You also want to set up where the kids go home when you want to go inside when there are no other parents around. That is a safety issue. I hope you are getting a fence put around the pool. Otherwise it sounds like you are going to have a lot of uninvited visitors, as well as a safety nightmare. Not the asshole at all. Having random kids in your pool is a huge liability. Not the asshole. If you leave him out there unattended and he gets hurt or drowns, you're liable. Also, it's your pool and totally understandable if you don't want randos hanging around. I had a pool installed a few years ago and I can't believe how many neighbors have never talked to hint at wanting to come for a swim. Not the asshole, but this rule isn't going to work the way you want it to. You'll end up having people in your backyard, even when you aren't. Not the asshole. As you said, you are not responsible for taking care of others' kids. God forbid something happens and you'll be the one responsible. Also, make sure he cannot help himself to the pool when you are gone. Am I the asshole for not paying for my stepchildren's college? Throwaway account. I, 49, have 2 stepchildren, Leo, 19 male, and Adam, 17 male. I entered their lives when they were 7 and 5 and despite my efforts they never warmed up to me. I wasn't trying to be their mom, but just another loving parental figure. They told their dad how much they didn't like me when told them that we were engaged and told my husband that they didn't want him to get married. Their dad reassured them that they would always be a big part of his life and asked them to give me a chance. We even went to their mother for help but she refused. They refused to come to the wedding and wouldn't spend the holidays with their dad if I was there. I was hurt over it for a very long time but eventually grew to accept that this is how things were going to be and just tried to focus on my own children. Although my husband always held out hope that one day we could all be one big happy blended family. Tragically, my husband passed away in an accident. It was hard, and after the funeral Leo and Adam never reached out to us again. They barely acknowledged their half-siblings, 9 male and 9 female, at family events with my husband's side of the family, and I was sad for them. Fast forward to now, and my niece, Sil's daughter, is going to college, and I agreed to give her $30,000 after sophomore year. My husband loved his sister and niece, so I was more than happy to do it. Word got back to Leo and Adam, and they learned that their father had a huge life insurance policy that I was the sole beneficiary of, plus my side business is now turning over a sizable profit. They reached out to me angry that I was hoarding their father's money and threatening to sue if I didn't tell them how much I got and get half. I was upset but calmly explained to them that 1, life insurance isn't the same as an inheritance, so they had no legal claim to it. 2, when I initially received the payout I gave some to their mom to hold on to them until they were of age. They didn't believe me until I sent them proof, and apparently their mom used the money to cover living costs and there was nothing left for them. Since I used some of the insurance money to fund my business, Mill is asking me to pay for Leo and Adam to go to school, but I don't want to. They literally haven't spoken to me in years, and the first time they do it's to demand money. Mill asked me to think of my own children and how Leo and Adam may take out their resentment towards me on them. If that's the case, then I don't care to foster a relationship between them. Am I the asshole? And #X200B. ETA. I keep seeing this, so I'll add it in here. 1. The life insurance policy was through my husband's job and I was automatically named. My husband could have changed it but didn't get around to it. 2. While my stepchildren were never named in the policy, there was always an understanding between us that I would give up some of the money to help Leo and Adam out, which is why I gave it to their mom. 3. No, there wasn't an official will, but it was my husband's intention to make one once he turned 60, but he died in his late 40s. 4. As for survivors' benefits, I can't say if Leo and Adam got some since their mom and them never talked to me, and I never received anything in the mail about it. I'm guessing their mom took the money I gave her and didn't think that she would need anything else. ETA. Again, keep seeing this as well, so I'll comment here. 1. While I don't feel comfortable giving the exact amount, I will say that I gave their mother around 40% of the overall policy. It's the same amount that I saved for my children, while keeping 20% for myself as the spouse. Part of my 20% is what I used to start my business. 2. I didn't put the money into a trust for them because I trusted that their mom would do what she thought was best for them and didn't bother to keep tabs on it. 3. Up until they called me, I didn't know my stepchildren didn't have money for college. 4. Neither my husband or I had wills at the time because we thought we were both too young for those, but since his passing I have made one for myself. 5. My stepchildren are welcome to try, but I doubt that they can sue me for anything because most of my husband's savings went to paying funeral costs and any debts he had prior to his death. The house we lived in was a gift from my side of the family with the condition that it would be solely in my name. 6. I also love Sil's daughter and have a relationship with her, which is one of the reasons why I'll be giving her $30,000. It won't take care of all of her expenses, but it is a good start. Not the asshole. Do not let the people around you guilt you into spending the life insurance money plus your hard-earned cash on ungrateful children. You owe them nothing. Mill asked me to think of my own children and how Leo and Adam may take out their resentment towards me on them. They already don't even acknowledge their half-siblings. There is nothing more for them to resent. NTA. Leo and Adam are already resenting their half-siblings. Plus you already gave money to their mother for but she used it all. Your money, your choice. You owe them nothing. Not the asshole. They haven't spoken to you in years. They barely acknowledge their half-siblings. You literally gave their mom money for them. Why would they think they are ridiculous to think they are entitled to more money for college? Not the asshole. I wouldn't. Not your fault their mother didn't use the money wisely like you did. Their demand fullness are disgusting. If they have no claim, just cut them off. If mother-in-law wants to give funds to them, she should be more than welcome to. Not the asshole. I'm assuming your husband had a say in who the beneficiary of his insurance policy would be. He could have chosen his sons, but he chose you. By passing on some of that money to their mother, you did good by them. If you were moved to give money to your niece, that was through generosity, not obligation. You shouldn't feel obligated to now give more to people who have done nothing to build a familial bond with you. Not the asshole. They ignored you for years and are only speaking to you to get money. Not the asshole. You've already given them money. Their mother wasted it all. If they want to sue anybody, it sounds like she would be the logical place to start. Not the asshole. What are they talking about? You gave them money already. It's not your fault their mother spent it on other things. If they aren't interested in you, they don't deserve your money, either. Greedy and entitled and only wanting the cash. Am I the asshole for telling my husband's cousin that she can't compare her loss to mine? My 2-year-old daughter passed away early last year. It has been hell on my husband and I were slowly putting the pieces of our lives back together, but I know it'll never be the same. Most people in our lives have been great. Others say things they think are helpful but honestly aren't. I try to ignore them for the most part because I know they're well-meaning. However, my husband has a cousin. She told me for months she understood how I was feeling because she lost 3 children. I had never heard about this and was shocked, as I've known her 10 years. She then elaborated and said that she had tried IVF with 3 embryos a little before I met my husband. None took. She views them as children. While I respect that and do not undermine how hard it is for IVF to fail, we had 2 failed attempts before I got pregnant with our daughter. I don't think it's comparable. She had hopes and dreams, but she was never pregnant. They never existed. I didn't feel this way with people who compared miscarriages to me losing my daughter because I get it. No matter how far along you are, you can be attached. But this just seemed like a huge stretch. I tried to let it go, but anytime I'd talk about my daughter or make a post about her, it would talk about her embryos. Not just I know how you feel, but basically direct the entire conversation back to her so she could talk about it. I started getting annoyed. I told her that she was never pregnant. It's a loss, of course, but she cannot keep comparing it to my daughter that I carried in my stomach, then cared for 2 years and got to know, love on and then had to watch slowly deteriorate. She was diagnosed with cancer at 11 months. I got upset and said I was gatekeeping loss and that I can't tell her what a loss is. I said I was never trying to undermine her loss, but she can't keep comparing it to mine. Now a good chunk of my husband's family is mad at me. Am I the asshole? As someone currently undergoing IVF treatment, with a pregnancy loss and failed IVF transfer under my belt, it is not even remotely the same. You are not the asshole, and she needs help with her grief. It's okay to say something like, I understand your loss, but it does not compare to the loss of my living child. I would not have ever compared them, but you bring it up every time I mention her. Or, just don't speak with her about it. If she interject again, feel free to say something. I would never dream of making that comparison, and she should be reminded it's not the same if she brings it up again. Failed transfers feel like a huge loss, but there was never a pregnancy. Period. I'm so sorry for the loss of your daughter. Given the context, not the asshole. While I don't usually agree with people comparing their trauma and pain with those of others to see who had it worse, you clearly suffered more than your cousin-in-law, if that is even a real term. The fact that she draws attention to herself when discussing your pain also shows that she isn't that great of a person anyway. I'm sorry you have to deal with the fallout op. Not the asshole a billion times not the asshole. Firstly, you are allowed to grieve, there is no need for her to even be making it about her. Secondly, while I respect that and do not undermine how hard it is for IVF to fail, we had 2 failed attempts before I got pregnant with our daughter. I don't think it's comparable. She had hopes and dreams, but she was never pregnant. They never existed. Spot on. She can be upset and hurt, but it's a huge insult to you and your child to compare. Not the asshole. This cousin is a focus stealer. You have a fresh immense grief that you are living through right now. She wants to redirect the attention to her own losses that are 10 years in the past. This is not helpful nor kind. There are people who always compare and share, and it often feels like one-upmanship. Well, who wants to win at grief? It's ridiculous to compare the loss of the life of your beloved 2-year-old daughter versus the hopes represented by frozen embryos. Incomparable. This cousin is demonstrating that she lacks compassion and is inherently self-centered. Not the asshole. I'm so sorry for your loss op. Any kind of loss is heartbreaking, but making the loss of your 2-year-old child about her embryos is disgusting. I would definitely go no contact and block her on all social medias, as this definitely won't help you with your grieving process. My heart goes out to your family and I hope the best for you. Not the asshole. You aren't gatekeeping loss. You're trying to tell her to stop comparing her loss to yours. Plus, no 2 losses are the same, so there is no need to try to compare them. Also, loss is not a competition, yet it seems she's trying to make it one. I am very sorry for your loss. I'm also sorry for hers. Neither situation is one that anyone should have to face, yet people face these things daily. No words can change it or make it better. It doesn't get easier or better. It does fade some, eventually, but the pain is still there, always. It's what you do with that pain moving forward that matters. You are not the asshole, not at all, and again, I am sorry for your loss. Oof. I thought this was going to be about a miscarriage or stillbirth and was ready to call you the ah. But no, it's definitely not comparable. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. Not having an embryo take is way different than losing a baby or even having a miscarriage. It's sad that she really wanted to be pregnant and the embryos didn't stick, but that's not the same as having a miscarriage, not even in the same realm. If anything, she can be sad that the IVF treatments haven't worked, but to treat it as if she lost them due to miscarriage is irresponsible. I'm guessing she's an anti-choicer who thinks embryos are people face with rolling eyes. Am I the asshole for giving my girlfriend phone to my sister and scolding her? It was my girlfriend's 23 birthday and I, 25, got her an iPhone 12 Pro, as she has been wanting one for a while, so I saved up and it was very expensive. When I surprised her with it, I was expecting her to be excited, but instead, she told me that she wanted a black one, not a white one. The thing is, she never told me she wanted a black, she just always said she wanted the phone itself. When I told her I didn't know, she told me that I ruined her birthday and just left. I was honestly in shock and disbelief that she was that upset about a phone color. I didn't know what to do with the phone and planned on taking it back, but I remember my sister, 19, just had a baby and unfortunately had to drop out of college to find a job. I decided that I was going to give the phone to her since the phone she had was not working anymore. I told her that I would give the phone to her, but I still had to check if my girlfriend changed her mind, so I texted her saying, "This is your last chance to change your mind about the phone because I plan on giving it to my sister." And she just texted me back, "I don't care." I asked her one last time and again, she said, "I told you I don't care." So that was that. A few hours later I was in bed when my girlfriend came in and asked me where was her phone, and I told her, "I thought you didn't want it." "I'm sorry, but it's too late now, I already gave it to my sister." She got angry and started shouting at me saying that she thought I was joking and that it was her phone so I had no right to give it away, and started stomping her feet saying she wanted her phone back right now. I lost my cool and told her, "You are an adult behaving like a child who didn't get their way. I asked you twice if you wanted the phone and you said no now, please stop behaving like a toddler." She stomped her way out of the room and texted me that I was a jerk and now all of her friends are ganging up on me, so now I'm wondering if I'm not the asshole. Dealing with this person will always be a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation. No matter how you try to please her, she will never be happy. She will constantly move the goalpost and find ways to tell you why you are not good enough for her. This is a relationship red flag. It's good that you didn't give the phone to an ungrateful person. Not the asshole, huge red flag. Dump her unless you want to deal with this childish behavior for the rest of your life. Not the asshole, and please consider breaking up. Your girlfriend is completely dismissive of all the effort that must have gone into buying the phone because of something she never even specified. She then proceeds as if she was the one being wronged and turns the blame onto you, but somehow still stakes claim on the phone after basically tossing it aside. I honestly think it's great karma that the phone found someone actually deserving. This is a metric shitload of red flags. Consider ending your relationship with her, she's toxic. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. Friend. Not to be mean, but I'd reconsider that relationship. You seem like a caring dude. I know the iPhone must have been super expensive. And getting upset by the color, which by the way she could change worst case scenario, is just wrong. She doesn't appreciate you. Find someone who will. Not the asshole. Your girlfriend acted like an ungrateful, spoiled brat. You did the right thing. I'm sure your sister appreciates your thoughtfulness. Not the asshole. Sounds like you're dating a child, and a poorly raised one at that. Get rid of her. Not the asshole, but I am curious as to why you want to be with someone who behaves that way. Not the asshole. Sounds like you were pretty reasonable and she doesn't get to tell you multiple times she doesn't care about the phone, then be angry when you give it to someone who needs it. Kinda seems she's waving around extremely large red flags right now.